I can teach you about the atom in 2 minutes. They get, they figure there's something wrong here, so they make a deal with another gang.
Hey, look, turkeys. You want to shape up or you want me to put on another record?
I got 3 gift certificates for beauty makeovers.
You need 3, huh?
That's a $60 tie!
Well, now it's half off.
I said, all right, I'll dance with your sister. So we get up and dance, but someone else is angered by it. And he says to her, why are you dancing with the When that happens, my hair stands.
Legendary American actor and comedian, Tim Reid has been making waves since the 70s. From his breakout performance in WKRP in Cincinnati to starring in the groundbreaking Sister Sister.
Hello, Lisa.
Oh, well, you seem pretty happy, Ray.
Tim has been a trailblazer in Hollywood, paving the way for Black actors everywhere. Bet you didn't know he's got some juicy behind-the-scenes stories and a colorful personal life that has kept fans buzzing? With a career spanning decades, this charming man has had his fair share of ups and downs. We're talking racially profiling, being shut down on set, and we're here to dish out on all the drama, triumphs, and a few secrets you didn't know. This guy's backstory is as intriguing as his career. Born Timothy Lee Reid on December 19, 1944, in Norfolk, Virginia. Tim was raised in the Crestwood area of Chesapeake, where he grew up amid the struggles of segregation.
I come from a Black community. I was born in segregation, raised in all Black, what you call Color Town.
Imagine that. The majority of businesses around him were Black-owned, which definitely shaped his perspective. After he snagged his bachelor's in business administration from Norfolk State College in 1968, he was ready to take on the world. Tim started working at DuPont Corporation, but his entertainment career kicked off the same year. That's some multitasking. He crossed paths with insurance salesman Tom Dreesen at a junior Chamber of Commerce meeting near Chicago. They were teamed up to promote an anti-drug program in schools, but after a kid's comment sparked an idea, they decided to form a comedy duo. Can you believe it? They became the first interracial comedy duo, billed as Tim and Tom.
That's out of sight, man. I didn't know you spoke a foreign language.
That's ghetto talk, man. That's the way you talk in the hood.
In the hood?
The neighborhood. Just walk up here and repeat what I just said.
Fast forward, and these two even penned a book about their adventures called Tim and Tom, an American comedy in black and white. Now that book is a must-read for anyone curious about the behind-the-scenes magic. In 1966, Tim Reid got married to Rita Ann Sykes, but that love story hit a snag, and they divorced on May 9, 1980. They did manage to have 2 kids together, Timothy II and Tori Reid. But have you seen the fine specimen that is Tim Reid? He didn't stay single for long. Just a couple of years later, on December 4, 1982, he married the fabulous actress Daphne Maxwell Reid. You think she looks familiar, right? Well, she's the second Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air over 4 decades, and these two are still going strong. In Hollywood, that's a dinosaur-aged marriage, proving that love can have its twists and turns, but still come out shining. What a journey! After some serious soul-searching, Reid decides to ditch everything else and go all in on acting. He hit the drama classes hard and even worked the comedy circuit. And guess what? The opportunities came flooding in. By the late 70s, he was popping up on variety shows alongside legends like Frankie Avalon, the fabulous Marilyn McCoo, and Billy Davis Jr. From The Fifth Dimension, and the one and only Richard Pryor. Can you take a moment to imagine the Backstage Gossip? Tim was making his mark with early gigs on iconic shows like That's My Mama, What's Happening, and Maude.
Again, step foot in this house, and I can only praise a man of his word.
Men of their word change their minds, Maud.
Hold on to your hats. His real breakout role came when he snagged the super cool part of Venus Flytrap on WKRP in Cincinnati in 1978.
And lo and behold, Hugh Wilson stood up for me and made a trade. They wanted somebody to play one of the leads. Hugh didn't want that person, wanted somebody else. So it was like a trade. He said, I tell you what, I'll give you that person if you give me Tim Reid. So it was like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trade, the Lakers. I mean, I'll trade you this and a small family from Indiana, you know. But anyway, that's how I got to be Venus Flytrap, and the rest is history.
That radio disc jockey, total legend. It's the role he's forever known for, and fans still adore him for it. After that, Tim continued to keep the spotlight shining bright with regular roles in other series, including his stint as a teacher in the Lynn Redgrave sitcom Teachers Only in 1982, and as Latin Marcel, Downtown Brown on Simon & Simon.
How are we supposed to do surveillance with people like that out there? We can't watch people with people watching us watch people.
Seriously, someone give Tim Reid his flowers because this guy knew how to stay relevant. It's a fabulous journey from aspiring actor to a beloved TV icon. Now that he was a big deal in Hollywood, Tim really started taking the reins of his career. And guess what? He even snagged an Emmy nomination for his efforts. Plus, he got to share the screen with his second wife, the lovely Daphne Reid. Major power couple vibes.
Well, while we're waiting for dinner, may I offer you some Chardonnay? I mean, Chardonnay.
But he wasn't done yet. Tim went on to play a criminology professor in the comedy Snoops in 1989, once again starring alongside Daphne as his on-screen wife.
Curiosity always got you guessing. Questions spinning right.
Can we say dynamic duo? And then came the hit show Sister Sister in 1994, where he played the adorable adopted dad to identical twins Tia and Tamara Mowry Housley. Oh, and let's not forget, he shared the spotlight with the fabulous Jackie Harry.
But the thing about Sister Sister, when I met those two twins, they were 13. I think they just turned 13. And I knew then that they were talented, that they had an innocence about them that was fun to watch and fun to be around.
This guy really knew how to keep the laughs coming and the fans swooning.
Hi, girls. How was school today?
Terrible. Slow, painful death.
Glad it's going better.
What a way to solidify his legacy in the biz. You'd think Tim Reid would be living the dream with his impressive career. But guess what? This talented actor has confessed that he often feels pigeonholed in the roles he gets. Can you believe that? For all his hard work and versatility, he's still grappling with the same old typecasting. It's almost shocking for someone with such a colorful resume. In a recent interview, Tim Reid opened up about his career, and let me tell you, he did not hold back. This guy isn't afraid to tackle the tough issues, especially when it comes to the challenges faced by Black actors in the industry. He's been pretty vocal about how important representation is and how white writers often controlled the narratives.
And they cast me as a owner of a beauty shop. And the director and I did not get along. He kept saying that I wasn't Black enough. So, you're not Black enough. And it was always a surprise to me when I was told I wasn't Black enough, because I had been Black most of my life. On a Wednesday, I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday morning, Bonnie Dorr, dear friend of mine, producer, comedy producer, TV producer, called me and said, Tim, I hate to tell you this, but we're going another way. I said, wonderful. I was so happy because I didn't want to play that character. And and they had to pay me because I needed that money to survive. And they had to pay me. So, but it bothered me. I had never been fired from anything in my life. And it bothered me. So I was worried. I thought, that's it. I'm never going to make it in showbiz.
Love the color, Tamara.
Yeah, it fits me great as her clingy, yet loose at the same time.
Remember Sister Sister? He pointed out that most of the writers were white, which he feels is a huge problem that reflects a bigger trend in Hollywood. But let's be real, many of us suspected that all along. The industry can be tough, especially for Black actors back in the day. He revealed that while he loved bringing joy to fans, there was a part of him that struggled with the expectations of Hollywood.
Sister. So we get up and dance, but someone else is angered by it. A complete stranger. He gets up and breaks us up, and he says to her, "Why are you dancing?" Well, immediately when that happens, the way I wrote it is, Andy jumped up to try to separate it, and the guy said something, and I hit him. At that time in 1978, no one had done that on television. And it came to me when Hugh Wilson, the producer, came to me. He was upset, and I was upset because it was a natural thing. So I said to him, if they don't let me hit this guy, I'm not doing this episode, man. I'm sorry. I'm not doing this. Get another one. Fire me. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to have this happen. This guy swings me. And what happened was they wrote that Gary would come up and hit the guy, so that Gary was protecting me. I'm going like, no, I'm a grown man. I can protect myself, or at least. And so the argument was, we're going to let Gary hit him. It's all right for Gary to hit him, the network saying. We won't get any racial trouble. But if Tim hits him, this went on for a couple of days. So finally I said, no, I'm not doing it. Finally, there was a compromise. And if you see the end of the episode, Gary and I hit the man simultaneously. And that was the end of the episode.
Honestly, it's refreshing to see someone so iconic be so real. But don't think he's just complaining. Tim's all about action. He founded the Legacy Media Institute to mentor aspiring Black filmmakers and media pros.
I think the Media Institute is the thing that has given me a rebirth. Got it away from I to we. I founded it about 12 years ago out of my need. I had this studio and trying to find talent. I mean, young people were coming from these historically Black houses saying, I'm a producer. And I said, what do you produce? Well, I haven't produced anything yet. So I decided the best way to do it was to form an organization, nonprofit, and be able to put together enough training facility or training equipment where I could bring 10 to 12 people at a time.
Talk about turning passion into purpose.
Also allows the Reid some personal freedom.
Personally, it's a place that I will do the kind of projects that I want to do.
Enter Frank's Place. Proof that Tim Reid is committed to making a difference behind the scenes. And honey, we're here for it. This show was the definition of groundbreaking when it hit CBS airwaves from 1987 to 1988, created by the brilliant Hugh Wilson and starring Tim Reid as Frank Parrish.
When I was a kid, I used to lie awake at night, thinking, where is he? What is he doing right now at this very moment?
Tim also served as executive producer for the show. Now, this wasn't just your average comedy. It tackled some heavy themes like race, class, and colorism, which were totally overlooked on TV back then. Critics were all over it, praising its innovative storytelling that blended humor with some real social commentary. It was one of the few shows that actually captured the lives of blue-collar Black Americans in Louisiana. In fact, Frank's Place even snagged the Television Critics Association Award for Outstanding Comedy Series in 1987. But here's the kicker. Despite all that critical acclaim, the show sent to TV purgatory. That's right, canceled after just one season. And whispers say that it was more about network politics than anything else.
People don't know this. We were canceled literally a day before we were to start filming of our first episode of the second year. It was about an episode of a show we wrote called The King of Wall Street. And I got this story. I was leaving in New York. I had gone to CBS for some other reason. I was leaving and I heard someone call my name, Tim Reid. I'm like, that voice I've known that voice all my life. It was Walter Cronkite.
Wow.
He said, yeah, true story. He said, Tim Reid. I turn around, there's Walter Cronkite. He says, Tim, he knows my name. He said, young man, you are owed an explanation. He said, your show was loved by all. He says, do you know why you were canceled? I said, well, they tell me. He said, no, it wasn't about ratings. He said, that episode, King of Wall Street, really rippled through the board. And there was someone very powerful who took a bridge to it. And people should, if they can find it, should see it, and you'll know why we were canceled.
Such a shame. Even though it didn't last long, Frank's Place is still remembered.
He's back.
Sure is.
Look at that beautiful thing.
For its artistic flair and cultural impact. Fast forward to 1997, Tim Reid and his wife Daphne decided to take a bold step and co-founded their very own production studio, New Millennium Studios, in Petersburg, Virginia.
Went into that studio. It was a 50-acre facility built from the ground up and one of the largest sound stages on the East Coast at that time.
What's even juicier? It was the only Black-owned film studio in the U.S. since the 1930s. Talk about breaking barriers. There's more. It also became one of the largest independent film studios outside of Hollywood. This power couple wasn't just making waves in front of the camera. They were changing the game behind the scenes, too.
The reason I did it was that meeting I had with William Paley when he said, well, it was my propaganda. And that old saying is, you know, put your money where your mouth is. And I decided I was going to put my money where my mouth was. We created a documentary series that was syndicated in about 140 markets. So all that was happening was going well. And
talk about making waves. Their first project was the short-lived but memorable show Lynx in 1998, where they starred together.
Believe this is politics. Johnny, what about loyalty?
They've been the ultimate power couple ever since, both in front of the camera and behind it. Together, they've dazzled audiences in the TV movie Alley Cat Strike and the films Troop 491, The Adventures of the Muddy Lions, and Shooting the Prodigal.
So, having fun? Oh, sure. All right.
Todd says you're the best bowler in town. Is that true?
Maybe.
I mean, how cute is that? Always supporting each other. Despite all their hard work with New Millennium Studios, they hit some serious roadblocks. Word on the street is that Virginia just didn't have enough incentives to bring film production to the state.
That's why I applaud Tyler Perry. I knew what it would take to have something like that work. I thought it would work in Virginia, but unlike Georgia, the state legislature, the people who were in charge of the government of Virginia did not like or understand what I was trying to do down there, and still trying to change that, which I didn't care one way or the other. It didn't go after me. What happens is they don't support you. It was no threat to the business whatsoever, but it was a nuisance. What if I worked? More people will want to do that, like now, because of the pilot. Everybody wants to be in the studio business. Not me, by the way.
Total buzzkill, right? Fast forward to March 2015, and the Reids decided it was time to make a big move. They sold the property for a whopping $1.475 million. More recently, the 79-year-old actor has been busy launching some exciting new initiatives, including a streaming platform specifically designed to celebrate Black creators.
Now, my whole mission, my whole focus is to give the millennials who are about to ready to change this world and usher in the 21st century, give them some information from the wisdom of the elders, the wisdom that was passed down to me, the stories, the cultural richness that we have available to us that's been ignored by media because it didn't serve their purpose, is to get that out so that they have some more information they can use to build a life, build character on. You look at Facebook sometime and you see some of the stuff that people are posting, and I forget and going, my God, I'm back in the 1960s again. I'm back in the civil rights movement. We need something new. We want change. And I think that I want to be a part of change. So any young people or any millennial groups that are trying to bring in change, I'm with them.
It's difficult now. It's difficult now for an actor to rise because everybody's an actor. I mean, you know, you go on Instagram and everybody is doing acting, little kids, everybody. So, you know, as an actor, if you're trying to start a career, The first thing you got to have is a sense of purpose and passion for what it is you want to do. And you have to have a strong foundation. Just wanting to be something is not enough. You have to have a strong foundation. You have to understand, you have to study the masters. You have to go back and look at some of the greats and think about, who are they? How do they act? Watch them on film and begin to find the best way for what's, as my grandma say, we all got something in us that is of value in your spirit, and figure a way to let that come out through your characterization. You have to believe you are what the role says you are, and you have to bring yourself to it. I think that's why the Black Brits have come to America and done so well. They're training, many of them, because it's so limited, because the competition is so great, you had to work harder. You couldn't take it for granted. You had to study.
Did you say trailblazer? And the American actor, writer, comedian, producer, and film director hasn't slowed down. With a net worth of $3 million, Tim's all about giving diverse voices a spotlight. And this move shows just how committed he is to uplifting the next generation of talent in media. We love to see it. With everything he's doing, it's clear that he's not just resting on his laurels. He's out there making waves and creating opportunities. Who knows what he'll come up with next? Seriously, Tim Reid is everywhere, and we're all here for it.